Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 180 of I Wish You Were Dead, a podcast about things that used to be alive. My name is Mike, that is Gavin and Fia. And, friends, have you guys ever, settled some scores publicly that didn't need to be settled publicly, but you decided to do it anyways?
No. Please tell me you're about to.
Normally I kind of have an idea, what you might be referring to with these.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually it's something that we talked about right before we clicked the record button.
Right.
I have no idea what's about to happen. Not that I do most of the time with you anyway.
I was going to say, wild card. But, so, it's the last podcast.
It is. Spoilers.
If you didn't listen to the last episode, sorry. This is it. And okay. Some background information here. Me and Gavin were at a wedding this past weekend.
Yeah, I saw Mike's face in person less than 48 hours ago.
I kissed Gavin on the cheek. It was delightful. It was a beautiful wedding. Whatever. Don't give a shit about the wedding. Gavin and I, because the hotel rates were astronomical, Gavin and I, because we're good buddies, and because neither one of us is exactly rolling in it, we shared a hotel room.
Correct. And
it wasn't just Gavin and I. It was, me, Gavin, Gavin's wife, and my girlfriend. So there's four of us in a hotel room.
Yes.
Not an issue. It was delightful, the whole time. Until after the wedding Saturday night.
I have no idea where this is going.
Gavin. And in fact, I know that your lovely wife is one of the 6 people that listens to this podcast. Because really, this goes out to your wife. Am I allowed to say her name on the podcast?
Yeah. I mean, she's been on the pod before.
Liz. I need you to go to a sleep study. I need you to get diagnosed with sleep apnea, because neither me nor my girlfriend slept more than 2 hours Saturday night, and we both after Gavin and Liz left before us, and then me and girlfriend look at each other, and I said it. I'm like, I didn't sleep at all because of Liz, and girlfriend is just like, oh my god, me neither. Neither one of us slept at all.
Can I tell you something?
That was, oh my, it was. Just before you say that,
okay,
it was. But for the folks that are listening at home that aren't Liz, this is not just snoring. This is advanced earthquakery that was going on at night. I don't know how you sleep on a regular basis with this.
So,
we love you, Liz.
I might even go grab her to explain this, because she also didn't sleep.
What?
I don't know. She was sound asleep, it sure seemed like.
She said she probably got an hour of sleep that night.
My God, it was. Then I don't know what was going on. But
apparently she can hear us through the door. Liz, come on for a quick impromptu
Liz, get
guest.
in here.
Come here.
Liz.
Yes, we are currently recording. Get in here.
Yeah, it's the last podcast. Okay.
Oh, this is exciting.
Okay, Liz, explain your night Saturday night in terms of snoring and or sleeping.
I didn't do sleep very well. Gavin definitely fell asleep immediately.
Correct.
And immediately started snoring.
Okay.
That was no.
We
I'm
both know that I don't
snore.
I'm telling you, sometimes when you drink, you snore.
That is the first time she's telling me this. I feel like I'm being gaslit so hard right
Hold
now.
on, no. This isn't snoring. This is, I don't know. Can Liz hear us right now?
Yeah.
Did you give her a...
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. There's snoring. I'm used to snoring. Whatever. There's snoring. Liz, the jackhammer that you had put on at night, it it is a medical condition that you have.
You've had me tested, okay? Recently, too.
With what doctor? With a degree from what university? No, you haven't. If there was no, what did the doctor say?
They said I didn't have sleep apnea.
They were wrong. It was, again, when not only did it keep me awake for several, but like eventually at some point during the night, like you had stopped, I was able to fall asleep. It then woke me up after you had restarted, and I'm just sitting there at 3 or 4 in the morning scrolling on my phone because what else am I gonna do?
But what's so funny is that I was awake during those times and I saw you doing that. I was like, yeah, no, Mike also didn't sleep that night.
Yeah,
So how are we both up?
because you had woken and I was just sitting there, and it was one of the, I almost went to my car. I almost went to my car.
Michael!
Because
I will
it was
say,
that bad.
hon, I will say, sometimes, like, even when you're just, like, when you were dozing, so, like, starting to fall
Oh, I
asleep,
know.
still
I
nodding
will
off
wake myself up from snoring. Yeah.
hard.
No, I know I do this.
Isn't that sleep apnea? Isn't that the definition?
No, it's like when you like stop getting oxygen or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what gases you were getting into your body, but they weren't the proper ones. I should have recorded. You know that I like. If I'm thinking back on it now, no, Liz, knowing you like I do, I think you would have found this. I should have recorded it. I should
would
have.
found
She
it
would have
very
found that
funny.
very funny, yeah.
No, and so
I like just so I had
actually-
proof of what I'm talking about, but
No,
just
I fully believe you. So I used to record myself like every night because I also sleep talk.
Oh, I did not get any of that. There was no sleep talk.
Okay.
And I've never heard it because I am
He sleeps through everything.
such a heavy sleeper.
So
Mhm.
Gavin like is not bothered by my snoring, and so
Not even a little.
what actually terrified me is I actually had like a little bit of panic when we got there. I was like, oh my god, they're not going to be able to sleep through my snoring. I literally had this
Correct.
conversation with Gavin the next day, didn't I?
No.
Yes, I did.
I do
But the
not
thing is,
recall.
I've slept
Oh my
in the
God.
same. Like we have shared a hotel room before, and it's been fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember this at the other times we've done this, and
Pregnancy
yet
changes you.
Yeah, I'll never be the same.
we're blaming little baby Igneous now. For
That's
Forever.
that's true.
Yeah.
She can't.
For, like, whether
she
it
can't
be-
defend herself. So
whether
yes.
it be a fart in the room or a stain on my shirt, she's getting blamed for everything for the rest of her life. So that's
This is
my
a paleontology podcast, by the way.
And that is the price she
Yeah, and
pays.
the dinosaur that I was observing on Saturday night, I just like, and again, on occasion you could hear little whispers from other rooms, like talking about things. I can only imagine what they heard from our room.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, I am so grateful that I found a partner in my life that is not disrupted by it.
Correct.
The
I am
perfect
happy
couple.
for you too, and Liz, you know this is all out of love. I like I mean it genuinely. You may want to double up on that sleep study, and that is kind of where I wanted to begin our final podcast, was knowing that you're one of the few people that actually listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're really gonna hate on the actual #1 fan of this podcast. That's like a bold choice. But last episode-
You're misinterpreting. This is not hate. This is out of concern. This is as a friend, as someone who loves you and wants you to get better,
Friends roast the shit out of each other, obviously.
but also want their friends to get help, and I want you to get the help you need. And if Gavin wasn't going to tell you, maybe because he's too nice, maybe because it's not a problem for him,
It does not bother me at all.
you deserve to know.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Liz, I'm so glad that I'm glad that you were able to join in on the final podcast for us.
Me too.
And this has been the first 10 minutes of our podcast.
Yes, are we 10 minutes in?
Yeah,
9 and
listen.
some change.
You
That's
got it.
fantastic.
We have actual things to talk about.
No, we don't.
We have
We do.
statistics.
It's like the last day of school. You can't assign homework on the last
I
day.
was gonna
of
say, can we watch a
school.
movie
can
I'm
no-
not
instead?
taking a test.
She
on
can
the
no
last
longer
day of
hear you,
school.
by the way.
We're gonna play
I've stolen her earbud.
we're gonna just play the "In the Arms of an Angel" song and run a slideshow of all of the things that we've done.
Or the one Green Day song.
Yeah.
Time of Your Life?
Closing time.
Yes. No, that's
Nope.
not Green Day.
Wrong band.
Nope.
That's Semisonic.
No, well, that was close.
Classic.
Oh, we played a fun
Anywho.
game. Name a second Semisonic song. I certainly couldn't. All right,
Okay.
what do you got, Gavin?
So, first things first, after that 10-minute intro, check out FIA's webinar series,
Nature Coast Currents.
Nature Coast Currents. There'll be a link to that down in the show notes. What is it, one monthly webinar series?
Yes.
All of the past ones are up on the website for free. It's a good time.
True. There's also a couple of paleontology ones that, because I was going through and prepping for quals and listening to some, and there's one like they basically like date the shell community from like, millions of years to now, and they're kind of similar.
Cool.
The bivalves, I mean, yeah. But it's fun. Check it out.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So with that, what I meant to be the intro to this episode, but here we are. Our first episode was uploaded on December 8th, 2020. 1,976 days ago. In that time...
That was back, the first, 3 or 4 episodes, back when I was I would go through, we would record them, then I would listen to them, and I would, remove all the dead air and the ums and the buts, and I would spend, 3 times as long as it took us to record, to edit out all of that.
To edit something properly, that is the right thing to do. However... I think relatively quickly you realize that is not worth it.
No, it was the ROI on that one.
Not worth it at all.
No.
And so I've edited the pod probably for the last 2 years.
Did you start editing it when I started hiking the summer? Was that
Yeah, that sounds right.
That was summer of 22. So did I do it for maybe a year and a half?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sure. Okay. So that, we're not 100% sure, but that's roughly what it was.
Yeah.
December 8th, 2020. What else was going on in the world? Good Lord.
Hence why we started the pod.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the pod, for anybody who's not familiar with the origin story of the pod, it was the summer of 2020. I was doing my summer field camp for my grad school.
Oh my gosh, you're still in grad school.
I was. That was in between my 2 years of grad school.
Yeah.
Or actually, hold please. Mental math. Yes, okay.
Great radio content.
Yep, sorry, I had to think. So yes, December was the end of my 3rd of 4 semesters of grad school. But yeah, so the summer of 2020, field camp. I would, post some pictures of things that I saw and neat stuff outside in the field. And
you were in the field more often at that point, which is part of where this began.
Yes. Yeah. And so the picture in particular that I had posted is a picture of a rattlesnake that I had almost put my hand on. And it was a big one. And I had some quippy caption to it about just, something to the effect of, fieldwork gonna fieldwork. And Mike commented on that and just said,
"It's on Facebook, by the way."
Yes, on Facebook, because we're old.
Yeah.
He said something like, "You always have the best, stories and stuff from your fieldwork. You should start a podcast." And that's something he had brought up to me, here and there previously. And I was like, "Brother, I'm in grad school. I do not have the time." And then he replied, and all this is publicly just on Facebook.
It publicly may not be the right word. I don't know if anybody can go find it, but
it wasn't in DMs.
There's not
it
a
was
secret.
just in the comments under the post.
Yes.
He said, "What if you just talked into a mic for an hour and some idiot did the rest?" And I replied, "You're an idiot." And the podcast was born.
And to be clear, I don't know if I've said this explicitly before, but when I was thinking about that, because you were always such a good storyteller with everything out in the field, I thought the podcast was going to be more of you describing your field work, and kind of what you had done that day or that week or that month out in the field. And we did a little bit of that, especially earlier on.
Yeah, but then
it definitely became more of
especially at the time. I was still in grad school. I didn't have a career to talk about yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, if that was the goal of the pod, that would have been a very short-lived pod. So, but yeah, so in that time, we have, as of, a couple days before this episode goes out, had 40,719 podcast streams.
That's more than I would have guessed.
That is more than I would have guessed.
Episode 1, or the number one most streamed episode,
Is that still episode 1?
By a fairly wide margin.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the issue with numbering your episodes. People think they need to start at the beginning. A little bit later on in the life of the pod, we started uploading, them to YouTube as well. The most viewed video, for some reason, is the Crawdad race that Thea sent us from Louisiana.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's amazing.
And again, it's by like a pretty substantial margin.
Oh my gosh.
The most viewed actual episode of the pod was episode 66, about the Silurian period. Why that one? That would have been by far the least one that I would have thought of like our like sections of Earth's history, because it's the shortest and not a ton happened. Like obviously things did. It was still 25 million years, but
and how many views, like total on YouTube?
Ooh, that I did not. Oh, total views, 6,656.
Still more than I would have guessed.
Also, a lot more than I would have guessed.
Shout out to anybody that listened to
we
this
did
podcast.
right.
I don't know what else you guys had to do with your time, but like, thanks.
Shout out to you.
Had I known that this many people were actually like listening, I don't know. Like, we could have like tried harder for some sponsorships.
Yeah. Let's see. Some other little fun tidbits from our analytics. Spotify gives you a lot of data, but some of it is Spotify specific, so not the whole audience. So if you don't listen to Spotify, you don't count.
Wait, we never talked about when I joined.
I'm getting there.
I assume
okay.
you were going to get
I did put it at the front, but I'm
Yeah.
jumping around.
Okay.
My ADHD medicine has worn off.
Oh.
Let's see. Among Spotify users, 57% are male, 35% are female, 3% are non-binary, and 5% are non-specified. Significantly less male than I would have thought.
I thought significantly more male than I would have thought.
What was the percentage of male versus female again?
57-35.
Nah. Yeah, I probably would have guessed at least like 2/3 male.
Like, maybe this is just my bias because I am a male, and most of the things that I spend my time on, like with video games or just like a lot of science, like fields in science, are male dominated.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like when I've talked to some other, I hate to call myself this out loud into the world, but content creators who do paleontology things, and their audience skews like extremely male heavy.
Huh.
I mean, it's also a podcast. Like, women have the murder podcasts, and men have the rest of them. Like, that's generally how it goes.
I'm glad I didn't say those words out loud.
I don't think that
Am
I
I
fit
wrong?
into the general.
I do think you're wrong.
Thea, there's a reason. There's a reason that
I'm
we
different.
love you so much is because you don't fit into the usual mold.
Let's see. Age data. 1% of our users are under 18. Not surprised.
Yeah, some of them were my students that went and listened to some of this before I realized what they were doing.
5% 18 to 22. I don't know why this is the age bracket Spotify has. 19% 23-27. 30% 28 to 34. 21% 35 to 44. 18% 45 to 59. And 6% 60 plus. Thank you.
Sounds like a
Molly.
nice normal curve.
Yeah, that's generally what I would expect to, like, late 20s into 30s is kind of what I would expect.
Yeah.
And then shockingly, only 60% of our audience is from the US.
This was weird. Back when I had the analytics, I always thought this was weird that we had like more international listeners than I ever would have guessed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how.
So it's 60% US, 9% UK, 8% Canada, 5% Australia, 2% Germany, Denmark, and Switzerland, 1% Sweden, Brazil, Belgium, Norway, France, Vietnam, Serbia, and Cyprus, and then everything else is less than, I rounded, so 0.5%.
I wonder if that UK was the one woman we had on the podcast, back in like 2021 or 22. Was she British?
We had
Do you remember-
two.
Right. Were they British?
on that episode? So one was
Yeah, but I thought only one was British.
well,
Am I
if
crazy?
you want to get technical, she's Irish.
Okay.
She was at a university in England though.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
And then the other guest in the episode was, I believe, at a university in Germany, but she was from Mauritius.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of why Great Britain would be the number
They speak
2 on
English.
there, and I guess. Well, yeah, okay, I get that. Thanks.
They
speak
share
English in Canada,
our
too.
language.
They speak English in other places too.
But yeah, all of
that
those
was one
other
of my favorite
countries
episodes.
were higher than New Zealand, which I found interesting. But overall, 113 countries,
Wow.
which I thought was really, really awesome. That was
Yeah.
far many more countries than I expected.
How many are there total? Like 200 something?
Like 100,
Oh,
180, 190, somewhere in that ballpark.
Depends on how you want to count. 193,
Yeah.
but like that does not include everybody.
Okay.
So that is the statistics. Now we get to some of the more different dates. Fia joined us for the first time as a guest on episode 33, all about reefs.
Okay, that's
this
a
is back
lot
when
sooner
it was-
than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was just you as a guest, not
Yeah.
full time.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that's back when Fia was still number one fan of the pod. Fia.
Yep.
Right.
So that was August 4th, 2021. So that was only like 8 months into the pod.
hmm And I
joined
remember.
as-
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I started listening to these because I would be doing a lot of stuff in the lab and it was just like mindless stuff. So I'd just be listening and I just would be like, man, it just feels like I'm having a nice conversation with my best friends. And like mid pod, I'd like be texting them like, oh, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah. This is so cool. Maybe you should do this and this and this.
And it has been so long since you weren't a co-host with us that like I almost forgot that, but it felt so nice to get those texts, and it wasn't just once or twice; it was regularly just to get
Yeah.
those texts. Like, okay, somebody
Yeah.
is listening and enjoying this, and it is already it's already Fia, who's the nicest person in the world,
Yeah.
and just to get that encouragement from you early on, it was so nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've ever explicitly told you that, but thank you, Fia.
Yeah.
For giving us I don't want to say the drive to keep going necessarily, but for making it fun and making it seem more worthwhile.
for sure. Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Fia then joined as a permanent host on episode 67, all about Nicholas Steno, the father of modern geology, on March 23rd, 2022. So about, what is that, 7 months after coming on as a guest?
Yeah.
And then, starting with episode 101, about Australia, which was December 7th, 2022. So basically on the 2-year anniversary of the pod, we switched from doing every week to every other week, and thank God.
Thank God.
I don't really remember when we did it every week. Like, I think
Me
about it,
either.
and I'm like, how did we do that every week?
How did we do that?
We early on, I'm almost positive this is the pre-FIA phase, and you and I didn't even do it for this long, but we did bank some episodes
We
where
did.
we would record like 2 or 3 in a row.
Very
And
famously,
then
that's what we did for the early January episodes of 2021. Because I believe I didn't look it up for this. I really should have, but I believe it was episode 4.
it was incredible.
We were just kind of like
Oh, yeah.
not like we still hadn't settled on like how to end the pod each episode, so we were just kind of rambling at the end, and we were talking
Mhm.
about politics. It was after the 2020 election, and
But before
before
what happened.
January 6th, and on the episode that went up, because I think January 6th was a Wednesday. And even back then,
I believe that's correct.
even back then, our pods went out on Wednesdays.
hmm
We had just been talking, and this was even before, because like obviously there was January 6th, but then January 20th is when the actual like inauguration is, right? January
Mhm.
6th famously is just when they like certify the ballots or whatever. And
Wasn't famously until 2021.
true. But we were just talking, and Mike said something like, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about January 6th. I think something could happen.
I don't remember. That's not how I remember. I'd have to go back and listen to it because I thought that like I almost thought it was like a vague, offhanded thing where you were like mentioning the
yes,
capital.
you had like offhandedly, and then I was like, I'm not worried about it. I'm more
Okay.
worried about the inauguration.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's the way it
I was
went
like,
down.
nothing's gonna happen, and then it was literally
Yeah.
like on the day.
Yeah,
And then
it was after we recorded that, and then I'm like editing it at my like temporary job at Morrisville Eaton at that point, and we get right to the end, and I remember you said that, and this is after after the insurrection has happened, but before the podcast is released, so it's like the 7th or 8th at this point, and so I just like put in a quick note at the end. Hey, in case anybody's listening, Gavin had no idea we recorded this before.
Hello, this is editing Gavin here. As I got to this part of the conversation in editing, I figured it was worth going back and putting in this part of the episode. Turns out it was episode 6, not episode 4. So the next little bit will be that part of the conversation from way back in episode 6, and then Mike's short little message that he added on to the end of that episode, just as a little throwback, all the way back to like the first week or two that we were at recording, because like we said, we did bulk record a number of these. So a little blast from the past, and then back to current Mike, Gavin, and Via.
Really interesting stuff to just sort of read about. And with that, I think we're good to wrap it up.
Awesome. That is wonderful. Speaking of political theatrics, next time you guys hear us will be on Inauguration Day 2021,
Ooh.
January 20th. So look out for that. Well, I'm not sure what the woof was for. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I am too. I'm just we'll see how things shape up. Not like on Capitol Hill, like I'm not concerned about that, but just in other places around the country, you know.
I couldn't agree more with all of that. So we will see you guys next week. We will talk to you then. Hey everyone, Mike here. Just a quick editor's note as we are putting this episode out. I didn't want to take out the part where Gavin was talking about Capitol Hill, but this episode was recorded before the events of Wednesday, January 6th, I believe it was, when there was, of course, the rioters that stormed the Capitol. That joke had nothing to do with that because it had not happened at the time we recorded that. Just wanted to make that note. Thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
I remember I was in an airport on January 6th flying back to South Dakota after Christmas break, and I was like, am I going to get stuck in the airport? I'm like, is this like a 9/11 terrorist thing? Like, what is going to happen?
Yeah,
I'm in the sky. And thankfully it wasn't. I was able to get back to my apartment in South Dakota. But yeah, and then I remember Mike had to do like a real quick, like at the beginning of the episode. So it was like, hey, Gavin accidentally kind of predicted January 6th, but don't worry about it. It's
did
at
the
the
opposite
end.
of predicting it.
Don't worry about it. It's at the end. And he was just kind of rambling. We recorded this like 2 weeks ago. Bye.
Yep.
And then we hadn't recorded the next episode. That was like the last one we did in that like bulk sort of section. And the beginning of the next episode, we were like, "Oh boy!
Wow! Yeah!
Wow! Yikes!"
I think at that point it kind of became clear it's probably a better idea. Like for other reasons too, but like not to we record them on Monday generally, they go out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of time for things to happen in between one to the other.
Yeah.
But that was insane.
Yeah.
What a way to start the life of this podcast.
It was. I mean, I don't know how many other statistics you have.
That was pretty much
at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like I'm just so glad that we got to do this, that we ever got to start this. Because, for so long Gavin, you would always have these stories of things you were doing out in the field, and it was like it almost felt, unfair that we got to hear all these stories. And nobody else got to participate in
I think a good part of it was like especially for like friends from like we didn't go to high school together, but we met each other while we were in high school.
Yes.
Who are then like in college and then grad school / the workforce. And it's like we would only see each other like once or twice in the summer and then at New Year's. And so it's like a lot of stuff would just happen. And then at 2 out of the 3 of those events, there would be alcohol involved usually. And so the other one we talked about in an episode about volunteering on why you should volunteer. We all volunteered for an organization called Hobie. That is where we met.
Yep.
No alcohol is allowed there, just for legal reasons.
No, not even like for legal, like
for actual legal reasons, we don't.
Yeah, but but also like there is no alcohol. Like at least
yes.
at our seminar, like it's not even like for legal reasons, but for like.
No, I didn't. I didn't mean for that to be like legally distinct.
It really came across as like wink, wink, in case anyone's listening.
No,
like
for actual genuine legal reasons,
yes.
There is genuinely no alcohol.
Right.
I have never heard of anybody even like joking around at our seminar site. I'm sure it happens.
I'm sure it's happened elsewhere.
I'm sure it's happened with us, but
yeah.
No, I know for a fact that it's happened elsewhere.
Yeah, well,
don't worry about it. I'll tell you afterward. But yeah, so and I get a bit more talkative, especially back then before the podcast, when I hadn't gotten as good at just kind of talking off the dome, without having lower inhibitions, and so I would occasionally embellish a story, as people are wont to do,
yes.
And it was just always fun, because we'd go out doing stuff for labs and things all the time, and basically after each semester is when I'd get to see you guys, and so I'd basically get to tell you about all the cool stuff I did that semester, and I had never thought of it as like particularly entertaining until you guys were like, this is really cool and really fun.
Yeah.
Because I was not the only one that kept telling you. I may have been the one that was talking about a podcast, but I don't believe I was the only one that was talking about just how interesting these stories were.
No, it was like somebody reading like a Christmas story to you, like the night before Christmas. We all sat around and we're like,
yes.
He's blushing.
One of my favorite things that I think like in some weird ways was almost like a precursor to the podcast, was this thing I did in college that I called, so our science building at SUNY Cortland was called Bowers Hall. It had geology, biology, chemistry, and physics. And I had like an ongoing Snapchat thing that I would post my Snapchat story called Hours in Bowers. And a lot of that was just me not getting nearly enough sleep and also ingesting far too much caffeine. So just not in a particularly great, or a particularly healthy mental space. And it would be at like 3 a.m. Just me in the lab, evading campus security, talking about like the shenanigans I'm getting up to and how we're like writing on the walls in places where we're supposed to or allowed to. Like taking notes and like studying and things like that, but just like way too late into the night. And I did that for like a couple months. Not like every day, but
I have no memory of this being on your Snapchat, but I'm sure it was,
but yeah, it was just like kind of just like little bits of like, here's what I'm doing in geology lab and why I'm here at 3 a.m. And that was like in weird ways like a weird, less healthy version of the podcast. College is famously the healthiest time in a person's life.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, there's only so much to say at this point that we haven't already said. But again, this was, one of the things that I'm most grateful for in this, we learned some things, we had fun. It was great to hear all the stories, but just, it is no surprise to, anybody who's roughly our age. It's hard to make friends when you're an adult. It's hard to keep the friends that you already have.
Yeah. So true.
And just, getting to talk to both of you for an hour and a half, including the, pre and post sessions every couple of weeks. It was nice to still hang out with my buddies, and I'm going to miss that. I'm going to be talking to you guys less now, than I have for the last couple of years, and that's going to be sad for me.
Yeah, me too.
And there's good reasons why we're doing that. Like, I think we're probably making the right decision, at least for right now.
Yeah,
but,
and I'm sure we don't need to work out the logistics for this right now on air, but I'm like, we can still schedule like an online Catan night or something, like every once a month.
I was gonna say, if there's some big paleontology news, we'll have like some breaking emergency podcast.
I meant just for us.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But that is one thing that one of the few things that I miss about the year 2020.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, my students. So you bring up 2020, and you're like, yeah, man, that sucked. Almost all of them are like, it was great. I stayed in my room. I played video games. I didn't do anything. Like, they look back at 2020 so fondly, and I get it from their perspective. Like,
well, okay, so you
but
teach 10th graders.
So this year I've got 8th graders and 11th graders, and then I've got a small mix of 10 through 12, but mostly 8 and 11.
So mostly 8 and 11. So the 11th graders were, how old is an 11th grader? 16, 17? So they were...
Yes, they were in the middle school.
They were 10 when COVID happened.
Yeah. Elementary, yeah.
Not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world. They also didn't see the news of refrigerated trucks being brought into New York City because they needed a place to put the bodies.
Yeah.
So they didn't decompose.
Yeah.
Not to give
everybody they knew they had to stay inside and play video games, and their
Yeah.
parents weren't bothering them.
Yeah.
Like,
so like
But you're right,
from that
like,
perspective, I get it. But like, again, one of the few things I, as somebody who watched the news, was of news watching age in 2020, is like all the various things we did online together. We would play.
And those got old eventually, and everything else.
Did, but like Among Us being great. There was online versions of like Settlers of Catan, Cards Against Humanity, and we did that kind of thing all the time. Like more than like 2 nights a week usually, depending on what part of 2020.
It was so much fun.
It really was. And I feel like
like
this podcast kind of started up at the time where that was kind of winding down.
Yep.
Well, it was, again, you said December, so we had summer 2020, which, while it wasn't conventional, it was, like people were trying to do stuff over the summer, and then that fall into winter, and I don't remember if this was like, if it was like Delta variant time, or if that was, later, like I don't remember exactly, what variants came when, but things were starting to shut back down again, and it was kind of like, all right, everybody's kind of done with the first round of like Zoom happy hours, but also we got to shut everything down again. Like, oh geez, what are we gonna do? And that's kind of where this podcast came from. And it was it was a fun way to to spend some time. And
I would like to say, sorry,
no, go ahead.
That I feel like it was a very big topic for everybody to start a podcast around this time.
Yeah.
But the fact that we made it so much longer than all of the... Because I heard other people making them. And theirs ended very promptly. But we were here for a long time.
I mean, it was one of those things where I'm not sure we really cared.
Yeah.
I mean, feel like you and I are just hearing about the viewer numbers today. Like,
yeah.
I've made various jokes during the course of this podcast about how the 6 people that are listening. Like, I didn't know how many people were listening. I didn't really care all that much. Like,
I think if you look at
listening,
the analytics, it was somewhere in the ballpark of 130 on average listens an episode.
I would have,
That's
it
crazy.
would have been great if it was higher. Would have been great if we could have gotten, sponsorships and ads and made this, if not a full-time, would that have been nice? In some ways, maybe. It was also nice just getting to come on here and not care about anything like that, and just getting to hang out with you guys. So
This was for
No, and
us,
that's-
but
Yeah.
a little bit.
I have
for
a small section. Not that I think many people will, like any of the people who hear this will get value from it. But this was also just sort of a way for me to think, like, if I were to have done this over again, if I were to go back to December 2020, because I actually think the first episodes we recorded were like over Thanksgiving, so we even like had a little time before, or maybe even before Thanksgiving. But it's not like we
I don't
recorded the one episode and put it up right away. I think we had like a solid couple in the tube
okay,
before we put
I'll
the
take
first
your
one
word for
out.
that because I
But,
don't remember.
again, that's just my recollection. I don't that mileage may vary.
Sure.
But just some advice for like things that I would have done, like looking back on it. The first one is actually do social media.
Yeah.
I am so bad at social media. And like, again, this was just sort of me thinking about my thoughts and reflections over the last 5.5 years, because that's important to do. I am notoriously super bad at social media. I also spent way too much time posting through 2020 that I think I just like super permanently burnt myself out on posting on social media much. I never...
Which, to be clear, is probably a good thing.
Oh, for sure. Well,
long term.
I still scroll. But to be fair,
Well.
I scroll non-visual platforms for the most part, mostly Reddit.
Yep.
Which I still think, because it's not nearly as like algorithmic, I think is healthier than Facebook or Instagram personally.
I would probably agree with that, and not to say there's not problems. But
Oh,
like,
for sure.
I like if you're going to be addicted to one, I think Reddit is probably the most useful.
Yeah. And so like I almost never post anything on social media anymore. And that kind of started around the time we started the pod. Not a great mix. The very small handful of times that I did post or like make posts about the pod, either just like on the podcast social media page or even like posting to various Facebook groups or things. There definitely was like a noticeable like little uptick in the plays that the following episode or two got. Maybe at some point we should have had a discussion about that being like, you know, dedicated one of our responsibilities. But hindsight.
What else you got?
I also just personally hate self-promotion.
Yeah.
Part of that is just me being cringe of myself. And like you see it all the time online, people promoting themselves, and it always looks so desperate and terrible to me. And even if it's like content that I would otherwise probably enjoy, that's just like a huge turnoff for me. And I never wanted the show to be viewed in that light by anybody, if that makes sense.
I'm glad it wasn't.
So like, yeah, do some social media. Don't be weird about it.
Right.
I
mean, the goal is you get big enough that other people just like promote you for free. Other people recommend you in Reddit threads and everything. Like, right. That's the goal, but we never even got to step 0 there.
And kind of that leads into the next little point here is have some kind of community space, like a Discord or something. Like I said, not being much of a poster myself, but I am like a lurker on a lot of social media communities.
Right.
And if you don't have a space for your community to kind of gather and talk about it themselves, like together, you'll just be relying on like the most outgoing listeners to post about whatever you're doing, which is like a fraction of 1% of people are going to do that. So that's just not sustainable or reliable. And then the final just kind of note that I had here is like find ways to like shake it up more often. To make it more entertaining for yourself in like a sustainable way. My brain gets like both gets into habits and structures, but also hates habits and structures.
Yep.
So I'm like, I got kind of into the flow of, writing up the episode outline and doing it a certain way and going to, the sources to write the episodes. And that's why if you look at like episode length, it is extremely consistent, to the point where I tried actively to not have it be that way, to have them be a little shorter. and failed. Multiple times I tried to do that.
I think that was
and
something that me and
failed.
Fia had, because I know Fia, you and I have kind of talked about this on the side.
Yeah.
I think we kind of gently encourage you to make some of the episodes shorter at times, and
And
Yeah.
I did try. I actively tried.
We believe you, buddy.
And yeah. But at the same time, as much as that structure makes it easier to do the episodes, it also makes it
Mhm.
much more monotonous.
Right.
yes,
And while
especially when you're the one that's responsible for 80% of the episodes.
yeah. And so I enjoyed, that was one of the things also that I think I'm going to miss the most. Obviously, number one being talking to you guys every other week. But number two is just like learning new stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not
Mhm.
going to have nearly as reliable of an outlet for that curiosity anymore.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Wait. What is convergent evolution? Is that with the crabs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arguably, it's parallel evolution, but sure.
Would you call it convergent evolution?
To most people, yeah.
So I need to thank
What's
you.
going on?
This podcast. Sorry, I just had an epiphany about this podcast. This podcast helped me on my qualifying exams last week because
Yay!
because my last exam, it was closed note, and it was like list a bunch of these people and define these terms, and one of them was
Mhm.
convergent evolution, and all I could think about was the crab episode, and I was like, the crabs, they evolved the same way, the body shape separately.
That's incredible.
And so you talked about learning new stuff, and immediately that's what I thought about. So
Fia, I'd like to say you're welcome for teaching you that, for me being here for you
you're well.
and allowing that to happen.
Yes, thank you, Mike. I could not have done it without Mike.
But yeah, happy to help.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's not familiar, your quals are like we talked about it a bit last episode. It's
Yeah.
basically like the midterms of a PhD. So it's not like that you take halfway through the semester. It's that you take like halfway through your PhD. So they're a very big deal.
It was 4 8-hour exams. Every single question was an essay, and it hurt.
Yeah, I'd rather die.
It wasn't fun, but I did it.
And then there's an oral part of the exam next week
Yeah.
as well.
Yep. And they're going to tell me all the things I did wrong. Okay, Mike.
It's the last
Is
episode.
His
auditory, would that have been better?
It would have been less. I wouldn't have been able to laugh at auditory.
Okay. God.
Okay, I have my auditory exams. They're basically going to roast me about everything I got wrong.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Anyways.
Are you gonna cry?
Maybe.
Okay.
But that's
Never
okay.
say never.
I'm not going to cry during. It'll just might be after. Or before.
Correct.
That's good. Keep it inside.
Yeah.
Stay strong in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I was going to say classic Irish, but that's not Fia.
I am half Irish. My mom is
You're
Irish.
half Irish?
Yeah, and half
That's
Italian.
Not true.
Yeah.
That's
No.
stop. No.
Yes.
False.
My
Fia, I distinctly remember one New Year's you took a shot of marinara sauce. at
Marinara
midnight.
sauce. I have a video of that.
my Italian roots run deep, but I am also technically Irish. Fenella, actually, fun fact, is Gaelic, and it means white-shouldered.
That actually doesn't sound. I actually believe that.
Yeah.
So, I just really embody the Italian side a lot more.
Yes, you do.
Anyways, how
Do,
did we get here?
I don't know. How did any of us get here, really?
Right.
Certainly not an oral exam.
Michael?
I get credit for that one. I don't care what
Yeah.
you guys say.
No, that was good.
That is what your mom said. Speaking of which, actually, going back to Gavin's wedding, when we met your parents for the first time, and I believe I said something to the effect of "Thanks for
No.
making Gavin,"
Stop.
and your mom was like, "We had a good time doing it."
My dad said
You know her.
No, I thought it was your mom.
I don't remember, to be honest.
That's okay. I'm sure they both enjoyed themselves.
Michael.
Aren't you happy that we're ending the podcast?
In moments
It's
like this,
bittersweet.
moments like this make it feel the sweet side of the bittersweet.
I have nothing left. Just thank you guys. I mean, we joked about the listeners, or the listener, whatever the case may be, but just, for anyone that stuck with us, whether you are new or old, thank you for enjoying what we said, and thank you guys for for putting up with my shenanigans, right to the bitter end here.
Yeah.
Of course, buddy.
I love you guys.
I believe that is the end.
Yeah.
Unless
do
you guys have
any last thoughts?
Well, I did say I love you guys, and then was talked over. So.
Oh.
Would you like to say it again?
Let me just say it again. I love you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
Thank you for coming on, Fia. Thank you, Gavin, for being willing to do this. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been 180 episodes of I Wish You Were Dead, a podcast about things that used to be alive. This podcast now falls into the... I suppose our podcast was the subject of this episode, as something that used to be alive, and
It's
once
extinct.
it gets posted, it'll now be dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be goodbye forever, but this is goodbye for now. Thank you all for paying attention, and take care of yourselves out there.
Bye.
This episode of I Wish You Were Dead was written by Gavin Davidson and hosted by Gavin Davidson, Mike Bryson, and Finella Campanino. It was sound edited and edited for YouTube by Gavin Davidson. Special thanks to former guests of the pod and to listeners like you.